Okay, well, I was videotaping while I was doing this, and apparently I was not videotaping. I thought I was. So I'm just drawing this now. This I'm doing, it's a reverse canvas, and I'm going to show you that. If you're interested in learning that process, I can show it to you. So this is a canvas that I took the canvas off, and I used the stretcher, I painted it, and I just attached, I cut the canvas and I attached it to the back. I can do a tutorial on that. So I've already done these two colors for my project. And just so you know, and I'm gonna line this back up so everything matches up. So the reason that I told you in the video that I thought I was taping, that I like this, is when I used to drive people places, this was what I would tell them when they would complain about my driving. So I think this is funny. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover up these spots. I have some tape. I get this tape from Chuckature. It's really good tape. It doesn't stick too much, but it sticks enough to do the job. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape off these pieces I've already done. So when I do the larger part of my project, I don't want that on that screen. When I do the larger part of my project, I don't have any bleed through where I don't want it. So this is one of the ways you can do it, and it makes your work a little easier. Move that. And I want to make sure I'm all lined up here. And I am getting, the paint on my canvas is dry, but the paint on the transfer is not dry. So that's a little bit of a problem for me. I hope it don't mess things up. But you know what? You do it on a canvas and it's not a big deal. You just do it, get another canvas and do it again. Because this is how we learn. And I'm still learning too. So I'm going to put this here. And I think I can pretty much get around this, so I'm not really going to tape that off. I can get around that pretty good. I'm just taping around these little ones, okay? So now I'm gonna, the first one, the orange is orange peel, the yellow is bumblebee, and this one is raspberry sorbet. And I love these, like, early 70s mod colors. They're like, they remind me of like the Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, those kind of, you know, 70s cool. So I'm gonna start here, and I've already used this a couple times, so it's been fuzzed before I started. And I don't want to go over it too much because I don't want it to get under the, because it's not super sticky like it is when it's new. And you can use these transfers, I think the company says 8 to 10 times, but I have some that I've used way more than that, because I'll do the mini ones, and I've done, oh my gosh, even when they lose their sticky, there's ways you could make them work. So, I mean, they're an investment, I guess, and you can use them over and over to make gifts or change your decor out. And I find the longer I do this, the more little tricks I learn. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do right here. So because I have this done, it looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and lift it. And what that's going to do is it's going to release it from the screen. And that way it doesn't dry in the screen. Okay, now we're going to go to the next line. I'm just going to go straight across with it, I guess. I guess that's our... Because when you're doing more paint and it's taking a little longer, you definitely do not want the ink drying in the screen, because it's gonna make your project look not as crisp. And then you're gonna want to do it over. And of course, okay. So we have this line done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift it and I'm gonna put it back down again. I just love this raspberry sorbet color. I really didn't think I was that bad of a driver, but if I had to say this, maybe I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And you do, as you're doing this, you do want to try to get like the lines out of it, because you will see sometimes, I mean, it's not going to hurt it to have lines in it, but it gives it a crisper look if it doesn't have lines in it. So sometimes mine do, sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. It still looks good. And you know, it's handmade. It's not, you're not doing this on, you know, a factory. This is your masterpiece. And it's supposed to have because, you know, I'm not perfect. Nothing I make is perfect either. But even if it's not perfect, it still looks pretty darn good. So if anybody's interested in learning how I did this reverse canvas, how I made this, oops, I got a boo-boo there, and I'm going to fix it, and I'll show you how, okay? And there's a little spot here that I could get better. So I'm going to do that. Get that spot better. And I'm going to show you how to fix the boo-boo too. But I have to completely dry it before I do that. I didn't prep this, I didn't paint this canvas. I didn't do anything. I just wanted a white canvas. So canvases usually have like a coating on them, a white coating. And that's good enough. You don't have to like paint things when they're, you know, it's pretty good to go if you're going with white. Now, if you're going with another color, you might want to, you're going to want to paint it, and then sometimes you're going to want to wax it. And we have wax, or you can just use like, if you have wax at home, I used to use Minwax. If you have Minwax, you could use Minwax and just wax it once you paint it, and that way any paint grooves or anything, you'll wax it and then you'll wipe most of it off. You can actually even sand it. I've seen a lot of people paint it and then give it a light sand with some light sandpaper, because what's gonna mess it up, it will be any grooves in your paint, any thickness that deviates. So you can even use just a little light sandpaper after you paint it, and that'll even out the surface. Okay, so we're gonna pull this off. I'm gonna set this aside, And I just wash that transfer with water. Nothing special. And it's good to go again. So, here, let's see if we can get this full. Isn't that cute? Well, I'm going to make sure I dry this part real good because I want to fix that. And all I'm going to do is get, now if it was on like a wood, like on wood or something, I could scrape that little bit off after it's dry. Especially if I wax first. But because it's on canvas, I can't do that. So on canvas, I'm just going to take a little paintbrush and paint a little white over it. Just to touch it up. See a spot here that can be touched up too. But I swear, once you get it on the wall, nobody is ever going to notice that. So if I could even leave that, nobody would really ever notice it. It's almost dry. Chalk paint dries pretty quick. Alright. I'm gonna look at a, nope, that's not a brush. Let me grab a brush real quick. And I'm gonna spray my brush with a little water. And I'm just gonna take my white paste. Actually, I'm gonna spray some water in the lid. Whenever you're spraying water into your chalk paint, you wanna make sure it's not tap water. You wanna use like distilled water or whatever, because you don't want any science projects. I mean, I live in Flint. I don't use that paint or that water for anything that comes out of my tap, really. I don't drink it. But you don't want any science experiments. I had a little thin. You don't want any science experiments happening in your paint. And your paint will last a long time. I'm actually using some older paint, so I got a little thin, so I'm gonna do a couple passes with that, but that's gonna straighten that right out because I got it a little too thin, and I don't want to mess it up. Nothing is unfixable. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh! Of course, I just got it on me. So, let me get this off my stand. So, what do you think? I do have to touch up the O, but other than that, thanks for watching.